Welcome to Enchanted Tarot. This is for the sign of Leo for the month of April 2022. It is a general reading. That being said, it may or it may not resonate with you. If it doesn't sound like it's your story, check your other placements. Your messages could be there. Also, although I am reading for April, you could be feeling these energies whenever you view this video. It is when you are drawn to the video that you are meant to hear its message. Let's begin. It appears as if either you're not talking to somebody or somebody's not talking to you. It could be being dishonest with oneself, or maybe you feel someone was being dishonest with you. You may have lost patience with someone or something. You could have made a bad choice because of something that you were holding on to. It could also be that you will be challenged with a choice, or having to make a choice. Or having to release information that you've been carrying and holding on to, even obsessing over, and step out of your comfort zone. So there could be a challenge in your future wherein you might have to do this, or the other person. I mean, this can be your energy, but it could also be theirs. Your very first card out is this one, and it is the dry desert. And so it could seem like there are, or were, depending where you are in the energy, opportunities that just didn't really yield anything, you know, or ideas that just fizzle out. They never really go anywhere. It could seem like you're on an endless journey going through a very dry and lifeless desert. But now this card would remind you that there are times when you are meant to be resilient as you journey through some harsher circumstances. So I feel like you will be, with the dice, I'm seeing what's on the dice, you will be required to, or you are going through some harsher circumstances now, and you are required to do something, to make a choice, to release something possibly. Now this card can also say that you need to go deep within yourself now and find your truth there, and maybe that is what you're avoiding to do. Maybe you're passing through this desert, and maybe you feel that there's just no more emotion to be had or to be given to your situation. But let me remind you that although it is a desert on the surface here, if you dig deep enough, or you go deep enough, you will find water. And what is water? It is emotion. Now, this card also says that as you remain on the surface here, okay, and maybe you avoid digging for that water. Maybe you're avoiding digging through those emotions. Whatever it is you're asking about, or the reason you came to view this video, whatever was turning in your mind, you will not find what you are looking for in the conditions that you are in until you move past the surface of things and choose to do the real work down deep and discover the answers that are deep within you, that maybe are locked away and you've been avoiding to look at. So before you can see any new growth, or them, whoever energy this is, they must do the work. They must be willing to do the work. And again, this energy is being confirmed by the Six of Swords, which I feel could be a journey within, but it can also be an outward journey, you know, moving out of some very disturbing or negative energy to a calmer place. But I mean, if that is this desert, you have not found any peace there. So about a journey within, it could be that you're afraid, or it's something that you don't want to look at because it stirs up some emotions that you don't want to deal with. There can be trust issues. This is somebody who I feel like they don't want to put the effort because of the fish. I feel like when they think about it, because I feel like almost like they know they need to do this, but when they think about doing it, they get this sinking feeling. They just don't have the courage or the strength or want to go look at that right now. So maybe they just keep procrastinating and putting it off. And what they don't want to go look at is this. This is sitting in their deep past. So this has happened to them, the Five of Swords. And so they may feel as though they've been deliberately stabbed, or they themselves have done this, and there's regret for it. Yeah. They're talking again about a lack of growth. Somebody could have just cut somebody off because they thought they were not going to get a good return on the effort put in, you know. Light needs to be shed here because the beacon is here. And this can also be about the deeper issue, this Six of Wands, you know, which is appearing often in your reading. It is about getting to shedding light on the deeper issue of the Five of Swords. You know, why did this person really do this? You know, maybe let's say it was you who cut somebody out deliberately because you thought you were just, you know, they were deceiving you, or you were not going to get a good return on anything invested or emotions invested. You didn't think you were going to get a good return. Well, you have to look at, there's a deeper issue. So this could also be setting oneself free from a very troubling situation because they didn't think they were going to get a good return. You need to shed light on that. On why this action was taken. What was behind it? Where did that come from? And that's something, that is an area there that either you or they have been avoiding to look at, avoiding to go back and see, because it's something very painful, or something very upsetting, very disappointing that they experienced in their life that they don't want to go back and look at. So, I mean, it could be that somebody ended a situation and blamed the other for it, but ultimately the finger goes back to them and to an issue that they've been avoiding to look at. That could be also. All right, so let's just keep going here. So, yep, somebody is carrying an old wound, not healing. Looking back, she's looking back at something. Again, it goes back to that. Something somebody has been holding on to is what is blocking any growth from happening, or that did block the growth from happening, any forward movement or progress. Because they were expecting a specific outcome based upon the information that they've been holding on to, based upon the wound that they've been carrying. And it left a very sour, bitter taste in their mouth with those grapes, because they thought that they would end up, losing somehow. So there was something possibly they were not seeing. It could be that they were being somewhat dishonest with themselves. It could be that the strategy they took here didn't work out so well for them. And it could be that they're trying to think their way through this whole situation, but they're having great difficulty. They may be trying to come up with a new strategy. I feel like there's something this person is not seeing or is avoiding to see, because that King of Swords in reverse is on his back. It's behind him. And you see how he's tired. He's dropped all of his burdens. It's like he can't take it anymore. This is a card of trying to think one's way through something. It's almost like they're holding on for dear life. They could be holding on to a false belief, now that I think about it. Because going back is just unsettling for them, because it feels like a card that's just unsettled and chaotic. It's like, I don't want to do this. So, I mean, they could be putting up a little bit of a fight here. But I have an angel over here also on this card, and I feel like this person is being specifically guided to go back and look. They may not realize it, but I feel like they are being directed. This is a card of taking action on something in order to see better times, in order to move oneself out of that desert or out of the uncomfortable energy. They could have made a bad choice. We have the letter here. The letter can indicate some communication. It can indicate something slow or slow communication, important information. communication that, okay, there's information that is very important that either they already have this information and they need to take notice of it, or there is information or communication coming that has been very slow in coming that will need to be taken notice of. Maybe they have been very slow to communicate. But I don't, I mean, obviously you're not talking. But so I don't think that that is what it is. It could be that they have written communication but never actually sent it. That could be. Because they want to, they long for it, and maybe they're trying to fight it. Something they did that maybe they did something deceptive to escape a situation, or they were deceiving themselves about a choice, or they had options. This is options also. So they had options for the future, but they were too afraid of what was going to fill the cups. I mean, it could have been their fondest desires, but it could have just as easily been their darkest fears. And since they were prone to thinking negative, they were more inclined to believe that it would be something negative. You see, I feel like the mind was able to deceive the heart in this instant for the moment, because ultimately we know the heart wins. But I mean, for that moment, or in the heat of the moment, when whatever this happened, the mind was winning, and it did cause this this breakup, the distance between these two people. The unexpected. Somebody thought that, okay, this is how they managed their thoughts, I feel. The negative thinking. They thought something, oops, my poor little dog, cards are falling on her. Okay, so she's sleeping here on my lap. So they thought somebody was hiding something, and that it was going to, stab them in the back later on, And so what they did was, how they managed, that's how they managed something. So how they managed those thoughts of potential betrayal, they took a decision of a sudden, abruptly, just like that, to put the distance. This is a card of putting distance. Putting distance between them and somebody they loved, I feel. They figured, we're not on the same floor. So, that's when it comes to this relationship, those are my darkest fears that are going to fill those cups. So they took I feel like they distanced themselves, They didn't want to take a risk. But there is a change, And this is a guided change, or a change that is in the works. And it is guided by the angels. And you will be hearing from this person, but not just yet. Not just yet. But we know it happens. We can see the before and we see the after. So hold on. What is in between? Somebody thought they weren't being treated fairly, possibly, you know. And so they made a decision, a bad decision. I feel like they still dream and long for this relationship. Again, this is a mind and heart at war. We have the mind and we have the emotion. A decision that has been a long time. See? A long time in the works. Because somebody's looking at an old belief, or a belief, something that they once believed in back here. And they figured that somebody wasn't playing by the rules. And not only did they think it, they obsessed over it. And that's why this happened, because they believed strongly that it was true. It doesn't make it true, but they believed strongly that it was true, and you can't talk to somebody in that mind state, okay? Because they were right and you were wrong in their mind. That was the truth. But now we see there's a change of mind, and that, oh, maybe I made a mistake. Maybe that happened because of something else, you know? I feel that the problem goes to the deep past because of the Hierophant, because of the Ten of Coins. Those are cards that speak to the deep past, and we have both of them. Something over time. This is a very fragile situation with the roses, but the love is still here. Okay, the romance and the love, the longing, but it is a relationship that has had its thorns, so to speak, and it is very fragile in this moment. The book has been closed on this relationship. But then comes the clock. So the clock sits to the open side of the book, which, yeah, how the cards fall are very, very important, you know. So the clock sits to the open side of the book. So this is about starting things up again, opening things up again with, because there was information that was hidden, but now they seem to have gained some new information or new insights. Now the clock can speak to a timing card that could mean within weeks. It could also mean that timing is important somehow. It can also indicate to somebody looking forward to something, or somebody who looks at the tiniest little details. Now it has to do with the bellows. and this is about bringing something back to life. But with the clock, it's possible that somebody has been or is procrastinating on this. It could also be that the situation is fragile because there's work this person needs to do yet before they can bring something back to life, or before they can make it grow, before we can take that distance card and close the distance here. All right, but this change, I feel, can happen. The question is when, and that is going to be up to this person who must do the work, shedding light on the past for a future decision. And so the clock, going back there, one must learn patience, and that not everything goes to plan is what this card is here for. Okay, so it's like a twofold kind of symbol. Either you need to find patience and understanding, or it could be that time is, you feel or they feel, running out on this. It could be an understanding that, and that could very well be that to open this book, to reopen this very fragile situation, somebody has to go back and change something. They have to do the work. They have to go back and change something because death is here. And it's not a change that they really want to do. They balk at having to do it because they have to look back at some painful memories, you see. A decision to go back and do this can bring, it brings about this reconciliation that we see here. But again, they have to go and look at the deep issue. This is a repeating card in the reading, and it speaks to putting attention on that root issue. I mean, it could be also a repeating pattern, possibly for that person who it's happening to, because of that wound that was never healed and that they've been carrying a long time, maybe even goes back to childhood with the 10 of coins and the Hierophant being in this reading. So for this, to bring this back to life, a change needs to happen. And the Fool is about, oh, look at that. The Fool and the Two of Wands. This is about following the heart with regards to a decision about a partnership or about the future of a partnership. And you see, here we were at war between the mind and the heart. The thing is, that wound, it always goes back to that wound, is what's behind the swords in the mind, and is indeed what caused that which sits at the root. So that is what needs to be healed so that you can have this. There is water in this desert, okay? There is. But you must be willing to do the digging, to do the work, to find it. I thank you for watching, for liking and for sharing my videos, and for subscribing. Also, thank you to everyone who has sent in a donation. It is greatly appreciated. Sorry if you did hear some strange noises, my little dog sleeping on my lap and she's snoring. So sorry if the mic picked that up. Anyway, thank you to everybody for the donations and for subscribing, for watching. Many blessings to all of you.